Welcome students. Today I will discuss the chapter of third chapter of electrostatic, which is related with Gauss theorem. Okay, and in Gauss theorem we have to discuss about electric lines of force, electric flux, and intensity due to spherical charge distribution or superficial charge distribution, then volume charge distribution. All these we can discuss here. Now first let's start electric lines of force. This is a body which is charged positively. Automatically another body will be charged negatively because I have to shift electron from here to here. So if one body is charged positively, another body will get negative charge. Okay. Now if we release one point charge here, what will happen? This will give the repulsion force and this will give the attraction force. But you see, this repulsion force is more than the attraction force because this is nearer and this is far away. So now this resultant acting in this direction. Now if you consider here, the charge particle move here, that the repulsion, this is the attraction, and the resultant is like this. Again, if you consider here, repulsion is less now, attraction is more, so the resultant will be like this. So for a particular starting point, the charge particle will follow a particular path, which is known as electric lines of force. Okay, if it is released here, it will go like this. If it is released here, it will go like this. If it is released here, it will go like this. So the imaginary lines along which a point positive charge can move freely in the field, electric field, and if we draw the tangent at any point to this line, this will indicate the intensity. Okay, because the tangent is the resultant of these two forces, repulsive and attraction force. Repulsion and attraction. So this tangent will be the direction of the resultant intensity. Now I am going to that flux part. Now if we consider any area here, we will get these lines of force are going like this. But the perpendicular component, the component which is perpendicular to the area, is known as flux. The lines of force which are perpendicular to the area is known as flux, electric flux. Because when it is perpendicular, it can apply force. But if the area is considered unit area, and number of lines of force remains perpendicular to this, is known as flux density. So flux is the number of lines of force which remains perpendicular to any surface, and if the surface is unit and the lines of force remains perpendicular, then this is known as flux density. And you should keep in mind that flux density is the measurement of electric intensity. The flux density is the measurement of electric intensity. Okay. Now next topic. These are the electric lines of force which are parallel to each other. Uniform electric field is produced. Okay. Now if we want to find out flux, we have to consider area perpendicularly. But somehow I have considered the area by making some angle theta. So the area vector, this is the vector E, and area vector will turn through the angle, same angle ds. If the area remains perpendicular, then the direction between E and ds will be 0. Means angle between E and ds will be 0. Okay, but when it is turned, then electric field remains same direction, but area vector is turned through the angle theta, as the surface is turned through the angle theta. So what is the flux through this elementary area? Then d phi equal to E ds cos theta. That is d phi equal to E dot ds dot product. So here you can keep in mind that E is the intensity. Intensity is the measurement of flux density. Intensity is the measurement of flux density. So flux density is a vector quantity. Flux density is a vector quantity, but flux is a scalar quantity. Flux density is the vector quantity, flux is a scalar quantity. Okay, so this is the flux through any elementary area. But if we consider through any closed surface, flux through any closed surface, that is E dot ds. Flux through any closed surface is E dot ds. Okay. Now this is the introduction of Gauss theorem also. In Gauss theorem, let us consider any closed surface in the field, and flux, electric flux are coming out from this surface. So what will be the total amount of flux coming from this closed surface? The total flux I equal to Q inside by epsilon naught. Okay, and this can be written in the form of surface integration E dot ds equal to Q inside by epsilon. Okay, so the flux coming out from any closed surface will be equal to 1 by epsilon 0 times of the charge enclosed by the surface, which is Gauss theorem. Now how we can prove this? Let us consider this is a closed surface, charge is present here. I am considering elementary area ds, this angle is d omega, solid angle, this is cone. Okay, and what is the concept of solid angle? If a line is rotated through a certain angle, this is radian measurement, SR. So theta equal to S by R. We have this concept that theta equal to S by R. But if this line covers some area, this area is covered, then this is known as solid angle, omega. Omega equal to area by R square. Here S by R, here area by R square. Why? Because these are dimensionless, always dimensionless. So here we have to consider the R square. Now here I have considered one small area ds, and the intensity is acting in this direction. Area vector remains in this direction. Area vector always remains perpendicular to the element ds. This angle is theta. So d phi equal to E ds cos theta. Now E equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R square into ds cos theta. That is Q by 4 pi epsilon naught into ds cos theta by R square. That is d phi equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught into d omega. This is the solid angle d omega. Then phi equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught surface integration d omega, that is Q by 4 pi epsilon naught into 4 pi, that is Q by epsilon naught. So any closed surface, the total amount of solid angles will be 4 pi. How it is coming? See, omega equal to area by R square. Area means 4 pi R square by R square. So here it will be 4 pi. So total number of flux will be always 4 pi. Okay. Now applications. See how we can find out intensity due to any charged spherical cell. Intensity due to charged spherical cell. So this is spherical cell which is charged. Let this radius is R. So this is cell. Now I want to find out intensity at a distance R from the center. Then we have to consider a sphere of radius small r. A sphere of radius small r to enclose this charge body, because I have to enclose this. Then I can apply Gauss theorem. So this surface is known as Gaussian surface, which is used to enclose the charge body. And you have to choose the Gaussian surface in such a way that the area vector and intensity vector remains in same direction, means remains linear. Okay, then the Gaussian surface choice is right. Okay, now here surface integration E dot ds equal to Q by epsilon naught or E into 4 pi r square equal to q by epsilon naught, or E equal to q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Okay, so this is the intensity due to charge spherical shell and outside point. But if I consider the point inside here, then we have to consider the Gaussian surface like this. So this Gaussian surface could not enclose any charge because charge present at the surface always. So inside Gaussian surface could not enclose charge. That's why inside intensity will be 0. Then if we plot a graph in between distance and intensity, what will be the graph? This is the radius. Up to radius there is no intensity. Afterwards it will vary by e equal to 1 by r square. Okay. Now intensity due to charge solid sphere. That this is a solid sphere. First I am considering solid conducting sphere. Conducting solid sphere means metal. So whenever it is given, charge is given, it will go to the outer surface. For conducting surface, if charge is given, it will go to the outer surface always. Okay. So the behavior of this for this conducting solid sphere will be just like a spherical shell. Therefore, inside point intensity will be 0 and outside point E equal to q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square, just like spherical shell. But if it is non-conducting, that means charge remains distributed over the volume. Okay, let this is capital R, this is small r. So what is the volume charge density? That is rho equal to 4/3 pi equal to q by 4/3 pi r cube. This is called volume charge density. Okay. Now I want to find out intensity at a distance small r at the center from the center, and which is situated inside the sphere. Then what is the charge enclosed by the Gaussian surface? Because Gaussian surface must be a spherical Gaussian surface we have to consider, and concentric spherical surface. So what is the charge enclosed by this surface? That is 4/3 pi small r cube into rho. That is 4/3 pi small r cube into q by 4/3 pi capital R cube. That is capital R small r by whole cube. Now we can use that Gaussian surface, Gaussian E dot ds equal to q by epsilon 0. That is E into 4 pi r square equal to q r cube by 4 epsilon naught capital R cube. Then E equal to q small r 4 pi epsilon naught capital R cube. That is E proportional to 1 by r. So inside intensity will vary linearly. This is E. So up to r it will vary linearly, then inversely. E proportional to r, E proportional to 1 by r square. Okay. So this is field due to solid spheres, solid conducting and solid non-conducting I have discussed. Now I am going to field due to a cylinder, charged cylinder. This is a charged cylinder. Be charged. I want to find out intensity at a distance small r. So I am considering cylindrical Gaussian surface here, coaxial cylindrical Gaussian surface. And the electric lines of force will go perpendicular to the curved surfaces. Now again Gauss theorem we can use surface integration E dot ds equal to lambda L by epsilon 0, or E surface integration ds lambda L by epsilon 0, or E into 2 pi r L equal to lambda L by epsilon 0. So E equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon 0 r. This is the intensity due to charged cylinder. Again we can find out intensity due to charge sheet also. This is a charge sheet. And surface charge density is sigma. To find out intensity at the nearer point, we have to consider cylindrical cross-sectional surface. This is E, this is ds. Now the electric flux will go through the flat surface, not through the curved surface. But previous one we have discussed that electric lines of force will go through the curved surface, yeah, with the flat surface. If this is conducting sheet, if the sheet is conducting, then whenever charge is given to the upper surface, it will go to the lower surface also. And then 2E dot ds equal to 2 sigma ds by epsilon 0, or E equal to sigma by epsilon 0. It is for conducting surface. But for non-conducting surface, whenever charge is given to one surface, it will remain that surface only. So here 2E dot ds equal to sigma ds by epsilon 0 and E equal to sigma by 2 epsilon 0 for non-conducting and for conducting. Okay, if charge present both sides. Here, if charge present on one side, then this one. Now, we can find out the electrostatic pressure and energy density also. Whenever a surface, like some bubble is charged, or any conducting surface also is charged, then this charge will repel this one, this charge will repel this one, opposite charge will repel each other. So pressure will be generated. Okay, due to charging, the pressure will be generated there due to repulsion of opposite charges. Now, what is the intensity? We have discussed it. Small area, I am considering here ds, and intensity is sigma by 2 epsilon, because charge present at one surface only. What? One surface, sigma by 2 epsilon. Then what is the force? Force equal to intensity into charge. Charge means sigma ds. So it will be sigma square 2 epsilon 0 ds. Then what is pressure? Pressure equal to force by area. So sigma square by 2 epsilon 0. Now what is the work done to increase the radius by small amount dx? Then dw equal to f into dx. That is sigma square 2 epsilon 0 ds into dx, that is sigma square by 2 epsilon 0 into dv, elementary volume. Okay, therefore energy density will be sigma square by 2 epsilon 0. So these are the important topics I have discussed. Please practice and try to solve numericals from a C Verma or other books. Thank you.